Hello folks, welcome back to my channel, Mars and Barnsy. We're continuing our exploration of Cydonia, and this can be called chapter 2 if you like. We done say chapter 1 last week, which was the statues that were here and the partially buried face, and if you go and have a look at my last video, it'll give an explanation for what I think these are. The banquet and Osiris, that represents Osiris partially buried in the rock after the attempt on his life by his brother Set, who tried to usurp his throne and take his throne over. Yeah, he tried to murder Osiris. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come across the image towards the east, this way, towards the east, and I'm going to point out the perpetrators of this attempted crime. Okay, because like I've said to you, everything you can see in this image is all connected. I said to you about the pregnant lady here and the fetus, and Nephthys, the sister of Isis. This is Nephthys kneeling with the bottle, and I said that she was a goddess of she used to help people in childbirth, that sort of thing. And there's a sister Isis with a baby, basically. So like I say, it is all connected. And this was the banquet with the partially buried Osiris. Now I'm going to show you again, guys, this is only my opinion. This is something that I've formulated over the last few years after thoroughly researching this and looking at this particular image, and I can assure you it's not just pareidolia, misinterpretation, inventive imagination. They are actually here. I think so far I've shown you too many images, too many sculptures, structures for it to be, misinterpretation. They are connected. You've only got to look at all these to see that the sculptures, they're in no way natural formations. These are not natural formations, and honestly, I can guarantee you. Okay, no matter what NASA say, no matter what ESSA say, these are artificially altered mesas. The sculptures, they've been built by the civilization that were here, and they're telling a story. Yeah, and it's a story that we recognise from our own mythology, that the ancient Egyptians and some Hindu mythology have passed down to us. And I happen to think that the mythology of the Egyptians and of the Hindus were laid out here. And this, what we're looking at, is the raw template from where those ancient civilizations got those myths. How they got them, I do not know. I haven't got a clue. But there's some kind of connection between all this on Mars and Earth. These must have been human beings. There's the fetus. There's the baby. Yeah, they were human beings. They were mammalian. Okay, just like us, and they sculptured all these to tell a story. And I'm hopefully going to try and make myself clear on what I think is exactly here. Okay, so anyway, there's the crime. There, they tried to murder Osiris. Go and have a look at my last video. And here are the perpetrators. Here. Okay, so you've got 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you close-ups of these that I've already done. Okay, so this is a close-up of those structures that I've just pointed out on the main map in the north of the image taken by the Mars Express. Okay, And what I think this shows, right, is this profile of a face, this profile, and this one's not so clear on this, but it is a face, right? These are the perpetrators of the crime. This is a representation, in my opinion, of Set, the brother of Osiris. Okay, and if you look at them carefully, right, you can see that it's a profile of a face, and they're both smiling. Okay, so you can see the nose, you see the eye, you see the mouth here. Okay, you see the nose, you see the lower jaw, the head. There's the eye. This is the mouth open. Yeah, and this, although you can't see this one as clear, that is the face there. That's his nose there. There's the eyes. Yeah. Okay. And if you look at them very, very carefully, you should be able to see that they have been built and presented in such a way that they look as if they're moving fast. Yeah, this is leaning forward, he's laughing, he's literally laughing. This individual, his mouth is open, he's laughing, he's smiling, they're both happy. You can't really see the emotional characteristics on this one, but I think these two are absolutely amazing, because you can actually see that they're smiling. Both, he's laughing and he's laughing, and the reason why I think to portray it as if the moving fast and the laughing is because I think these represent the perpetrators of the crime that we saw, that I showed you in the last video. So this is Seth, and these are cohorts that tried to murder Osiris when in the Egyptian mythology they trapped him in the ebony chest and threw him in the Nile. And in the mythology he goes to the city of Abydos. He floats to the city of Abydos, and he does die, he does suffocate. So these are laughing because they're successful. Set has successfully murdered his brother Osiris, and you can see them laughing and smiling. Now if we come here, this in my opinion looks like the sculpture or the layout, if you like, of a woman, and I think this is Isis, who, if you in the last video, she was Isis was the wife of Osiris, yeah, and she was on the throne by them statues that I showed you, but you just can't quite see her in that because it's too blurred. But she was sitting on that throne. Now here's Isis now, and if you look at it very carefully, you can see that she's, you can see a round face. She's got a very elaborate hairdo, very elaborate hairstyle. This arm is raised to her mouth. Her mouth is open in a small circle because she's in shock, and this arm is raised to her mouth. Here's her other arm here. You can see her breast there, and there's the main part of her body, and then this is the lower extremities here. Now, and you can see she's startled, she's shocked, and she's looking out over the bay, which I will show you again, because I want to show you a couple of these images so that just to reinforce what I'm trying to explain to you. And her emotional appearance, if you like, is in complete contrast to these. These are happy, they're smiling, they're laughing, the mouths are open, and she is in shock because her husband has just been murdered by these people, Set and his cohorts. So this is Isis in a state of melancholy and shock and startlement, looking out over the bay looking for Isis, looking for Osiris, because Osiris now is in the mythology of Egypt is floating down the Nile, and Isis goes in search of Osiris, yeah, and she does eventually find him. Okay, but we'll get to that later. So what I've done is I've coloured, because I do it in blue because I find that it stands out a little bit against the darkness, against the black, and you know it's like that because I've really contrasted it. I've messed about with the contrast and the brightness to bring these figures out, and when you put the blue on, you can actually see where, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from. There's Isis in shock standing there with the arm raised to her mouth, and with the elaborate hairstyle. There's her arm, the body, and there's one person laughing. There's the very stylized big square jaw, big nose. I have pointed out other features in other videos I've done. That Set is always shown with a large nose, that a very large sharp nose, because in the mythology Set was supposed to have been like an ugly person, yeah, he wasn't very handsome, whereas Osiris was a handsome individual. Set wasn't, yeah, and that was one of his main characteristics, a very long sharp nose. I hope you can see that where I'm coming from, guys, with that. Okay. Right, I've done this one because I want to show you, want to try and show you what these sculptures are made out of, because I think it's quite important. If you look at them very carefully, right, you can see that they're made up of individual structures. On when it's really close up, each one is made up of buildings, yeah, and the buildings are placed in such a way that they produce the face. Okay, now this is extreme close up. This is about as close up as I could get without it going completely blurred with the magnifier, and you can see the round head of Isis here, and it looks very similar to like Stonehenge, you know, something that you would find at Stonehenge with all the buildings, and the upraised arm is maybe a pathway, yeah, and these square areas here are entrances into beneath the figure of Isis. But you can see all the 90-degree angles. This is actually a city. I mean, look at these structures here. Can you see them here? Like this big circular dome. There's roads. Look at the structures. The massive walls, buildings. Look at that. These are all massive buildings, and that's what these sculptures, as I call them, you can see that face a bit better there, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. These are made out of blocks and structures and buildings, yeah. There's 1, 2, 3, and you can even see a road here. Can you see this road here? And there's a big tower. You see that tower? It's in like a wall here, and then you've got a hexagonal building with big walls, and it's like a big massive tower that comes up. Can you see it here? And is the one of the roadways, and all these straight lines and squares and circles are all buildings and structures and roads. You can even see that that's off the ground there, that road, yeah. Okay, here they are again there. So I think that they represent the perpetrators of the crime when they tried to murder Osiris in the last video, and that is Isis there. You see it? In shock while he's laughing. Okay guys, I'll just go back to the black and white image just to show you again the location. Okay, so there is the banquet. That's the buried face of Osiris, and 6 miles across is Isis looking across the bay. She's looking this way across the bay because she's now searching for him because he's missing now. Nobody knows where he is. Isis doesn't know where he is. Yeah, and these are the people that tried to murder him here. Okay guys, wait for chapter 3 and I'll show you the next installment. See you soon. Good night guys.